Brownsville, the new rocket town, USA, the Rio Grande Valley, home to SpaceX. Let's play Ask the Astronaut. In fact, why don't you look for that new book, Ask the Astronaut, from the website astronauttomjones.com. The appropriately named Tom Jones, that would be Dr. Tom Jones. He is a NASA astronaut. Dr. Tom Jones, welcome back to the show. They found water on Mars, they say. So how long have they known this? They've been looking at this possibility for a while, right, Dr. Jones?
Yeah, hi, Sergio. Hi, Tim. Yeah, it's always been the quest for water. That's been the NASA strategy for exploring Mars over the last 10 years. Find where the water is, and then you might find the best chance of finding fossilized life or actually living organisms there. And that's, of course, where you would want to send astronauts, not only for the science questions, but also because they could use the water to support themselves. So the latest news yesterday, very exciting about the presence of liquid water, very salty, briny water actually flowing from time to time on the surface of Mars.
They found streaks, is what they say. Some, I guess, some college students or some NASA scientists said they found streaks on Mars that, I'm guessing, change from season to season as they watch observe the topography. They watch the surfaces of Mars, and it's these streaks that tell them there's something flowing down there. How do they know it's water, though, that's flowing?
Right, so we've got several orbiting satellites around Mars. This is the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, and it has a very good telescope to look down at the surface in detail, and attached to that telescope is a spectrometer, and it can break down the light into its different colors, and by looking at the fingerprint of these colors, you can tell what kind of minerals you're looking at on the surface. In this case, they found that along these streaks that were photographed on the surface, on warmer, south-facing, sunny slopes, they found that in the warmest times of the year, they find these streaks occurring. And when they zoomed in with that spectrometer, they found the mineral signature of wet or hydrated salts. So these salts are left behind by these briny flows trickling down the surfaces of these inclines.
Now, we know it's very cold up there. How warm is warm for Mars?
Yeah, warm on Mars is about freezing here on Earth, about 0 degrees Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit. So typically, liquid water that we are familiar with that you could drink from a tap, it would freeze solid. You could never have it flowing across the surface. But if you add enough salt in the form of these mineral salts dissolved in the water, it's actually depressing the freezing point so it can stay liquid and flow.
We're playing Ask the Astronaut from the website astronauttomjones.com, NASA astronaut Dr. Tom Jones.
Dr. Jones, Tim Sullivan here. That's what I wanted to press with you a little bit. What is the significance of the fact that it's salt water?
Yeah, it's much saltier than ocean water would be, and it's mixed with not only with sodium chloride, regular salt, table salt, but it's other mineral salts as well. And they've actually found that chemical or mineral signature with the orbiting spectrometer. So what that means is if you can build a machine that lands near these trickles, you might be able to drill down to the aquifer underground that's perhaps rise to these. Then you could distill that water and have usable drinking water, and it's also the ingredients for rocket fuel.
You think there are aquifers on Mars?
Well, they're not sure of the source. One guess is that it's just dew rather that precipitates out of the air and lies on the surface and then accumulates and trickles. Another is that there might be a salty aquifer under the surface. When it warms up or when pressure builds up, it bursts out at the rims of these valleys or craters and trickles downhill. And my guess is that it's some form of groundwater with lots of salts dissolved that periodically bursts out or cracks the surface and escapes.
This water we're seeing, might there be quite a bit more, or maybe is this the last of it as the planet Mars just very slowly dies?
Well, a lot of the water on Mars that it had early in its life has gone. It doesn't have Earth's gravity. It's only about 1/3 Earth gravity, so it can't hang on to water vapor. It tends to get lost out into space. So a lot of the oceans on early Mars have disappeared, but what's left behind, very significant ice at the polar caps, north and south poles. There's permafrost in the middle temperate regions that's below the surface, protected from the low atmospheric pressure there. And now there's this trace of actually liquid water being available near the surface. So it's quite exciting. If we ever get there, we're going to have lots of water to make use of.
That's encouraging. Now, could water be captured from the atmosphere, set up some device that slowly processes and changes temperature and starts sucking moisture out of the atmosphere?
Sure. like it's a dehumidifier kind of thing.
Something like that.
You could have that work, but the atmosphere is so thin; it's only about 1% of Earth's. That there's not a lot of water vapor there. It would be far more efficient to go where the water is, drill down, and either melt the permafrost or.
That's a lot of mountain climbing, Dr. Jones. That's a lot of mountain climbing, man. That's way up there. That's on a mountainside where they found this stuff.
Well, that's what the picture shows, is that there's one slope with some hills behind it. But there are lots of these tracks, these ditches that the water seems to be flowing in that are on the slopes of craters. So you have a flat surface, then the rim of a crater, and then a depression. So if you land right on the flat part, you can tap into the aquifer beneath with not too much trouble. Okay, Dr. J, thank you so much. Dr. Tom Jones, website, astronauttomjones.com.
Got ourselves a new fishing hole.
Yeah, there we go. Well, not quite, but we'll get there. Check out his book, Ask the Astronaut. Astronaut Tom Jones joining us on 710 KURV.